Hey guys, I bought myself a new toy. I love boating, always have. I've almost gone 3 years without a boat. And summer's coming on. It's just starting spring now. And I'm like, I want a boat for summer. So I've been holding off for ages because due to COVID, freaking boat prices just went ape shit. Like I sold my boat for like the previous boat, 5.5 grand, big half cabin. I just got the shits of it, taking up time, and having a boat for such a long period of time, I thought I'd just have a break and I'll get something newer down the track. But COVID come on and the prices went ape shit. So here's the boat here. So yeah, seen the boat on the side of the road, and I'm like, it looks a bit old, shabby, and I've seen it had a Mercury on it, Mercury outboard. I love the old Mercs. It's my third one now, fourth one now. So I'm like, yeah, he had 5,800 on it. I thought, yeah, that's pretty good price. It's literally, probably half the price, half the value of what it is. They're right there on Facebook, but I don't know the condition of it. That's where the value is. So I ended up going back after a night shift a week later, and it's still for sale, and I thought that's good. It was like I went there after a night shift, it was dark and that, and I couldn't get to it, so I had to call the dude up, and turns out he's in hospital getting a pacemaker put in. Then I seen there was like a real estate sign. I thought, yeah, he's probably trying to downsize and get rid of a lot of his stuff. So yeah, we had a look at it, very quick look with the torch, and I thought, yep, I like this one. So yeah, I offered him 4.5 grand. He ummed and ahed, then he accepted it. Then I done a bank transfer there and then. I thought I was taking a chance, but I know the value of these boats. So yeah, so he's still in hospital for another week, so I couldn't go around there and talk to him about it and find out proper information. Like, he just told me over the phone. Then he's offline for like 4 days. So yeah, it's called a Caribbean Crestcutter. So it's an Australian made boat, made in Melbourne. The parent company's like American, but yeah, so they're known under a different name called the Pride Albatross. So the Crestcutters, yeah, they're pretty they're very, very popular boat in Australia in the 70s and 80s. There's a lot of them out there, but they're really good hull, great for fishing, heaps of room. So yeah, I've been keeping up to date, always reading these books when I'm in machines at work and I've got the time to kill. So yeah, so they're looking over it and I'm like, yeah, I want that. So yeah, finally got it home, had a good look at it. And yeah, I've definitely found some dilemmas. But yeah, that's what you get with boats, because people leave them sitting out in the weather and they don't look after them. I see people with boats and no covers on them, and I just think, why? The plastics fade. They just, yeah, it just ruins them. So yeah, here's the boat here. I've just had to play around with the motor. So it's definitely been an pretty good chance it's a ex-family boat, because it's got the Nicky on the side of it. They even put Nicky on the fuel tank. So it's got a nice aluminium tank down there. Not very old, deep cycle battery, marine battery. There's $400 there. UHF radio, storage under the seats. Really well, definitely a good engineered boat. The seats need replacing, don't worry about it. I don't like those style seats. I'm going to put pedestal seats in it. Heaps of storage room. Fish finder. Steering works, a little bit tight, just needs lubing up. But yeah, it's a really good boat actually. I'm pretty happy with it. I like the old Australian boats. They're so well built. people starting to really put the value up of these boats now. These old Australian ones are so well built, and there's so many of them out there, but people starting to shy away from the aluminium boats, the newer ones, because they cost so much. We can get good quality old Australian boats. So yeah, got seating compartments back there, cutting board fishing, and even got this tub full of, like, it's got a tube, life jackets, rope for skiing and stuff. Yeah, I've got the carpet, nice carpet for it, but I've taken it out. Got the mini for it. It's a bit shabby, it needs replacing, but I don't particularly care at this point in time about having it nice and pretty, nice paint. I just want to fix what I need to fix on it, and then get it out in the water for summer, because my son's not going to be 14 forever. Before I know it, he's going to be 16, 17, want to hang out with girls, do his own thing. So I'm thinking I'll get this thing going while I'm doing the XP coupe, and just get out in the water and just make little improvements to it along the way. But the house I'm building, I'm going to have a big shed, so I'm going to be able to work on cars a lot easier. I'm going to have heaps more storage room and workshop room, but yeah, I won't have a big paddock like here. Yeah, so the downsides of this boat, I've learnt real quickly, is the trailer itself. It's homemade, and they've done a really good job. It's a proper tilt trailer, nice tyres on it. Leaf springs are a little bit shabby, but the biggest drama with this trailer is it's being homemade. They didn't put a VIN number on it, because in Australia, as people may know it, people used to make their own box trailers, boat trailers, car trailers, and you still can, no problems. But the trouble is, people are knocking off box trailers, caravans and stuff, and then rebirthing them. So in New South Wales, they're trying to stop the rebirthing. So this trailer has no VIN. I've got no history of being registered, no paperwork, so pretty much I can't register it. The only way to register this is proof of ownership, which I can only get probably a stat deck off the guy I bought it off. But then I really need to, I've tried to talk to the RMS about it, and they don't really. So really, in order to get a blue stuff on the trailer, it needs a VIN. It hasn't got a VIN. To get a VIN, I have to go through proving that I made the trailer, receipts for components and materials to make it. I can't do that. So I think the most easiest option would be just to sell this trailer off, get what I can get for it, and yeah, probably just buy another trailer. See if it's as cheap as $1,000, galvanized and all good. But there's that issue, the trailer. And the next one is a little bit worse than the trailer from my point of view. But look at this transom. You see a lot of accessories. And the first thing I see when I see accessories on a transom, I think, oh, how well do they seal it? Because once you start putting crap on the boat, on the back, and you don't seal it well, it can get water getting into the marine ply and the layers. So I looked at that, and then I looked at this weird looking spacer. I thought, why have they put a spacer in there? What's the idea of that? And then I started looking at it. It looks a bit thicker here than what is there, and I thought, oh no. And then when I rocked the trailer, if you see that big dirty crack, you see it, might be able to see it, it opens up a little bit. So the transom is rotted out. Not good at all. There's a solid week's work in fixing that. So the options are, in order to fix the transom, there's two ways to go about it. You can cut it from the outside. So you take the motor off, take the accessories off, cut it from the outside, cut through the gel coat. Could be a thick layers of fiberglass and coating there. Cut through that, get the old transom out, and then you've got the inner layer of fiberglass in it, and you basically just butt up to that with new custom made transom made out of marine ply. But you've also got this stuff called Thermalite. It's like a composite material. It's lighter, it's heaps stronger, it doesn't rot, but it's literally 3 times the price of the marine ply. So at this point in time, I'll probably just go to marine ply again. It's obviously, when I come to boats, obviously I don't like leaving them out the weather. It's just stupid. I mean, you get away with aluminium boats, but then the aluminium boats are falls right out and shit. So I think, yeah, if I fix the transom up and just fix up the seats and just do little things to it, just servicing really, and just, yeah, get out in water and enjoy it. and just keep it, look after it. But that's the bad part. The good part is the motor's fully serviced. I've done the compression test. I haven't got one compression tester, but he looks like he's gone into trouble. The stator's been replaced. A stator, spark plugs, they've gone through, they put relays in. I haven't looked into what they're for. Everything works, starts, runs, but it didn't run too good to start with. But it kept stalling. It just wouldn't. So I'm thinking, yep, being shut down for 2 years, the idle circuits, the jet's probably blocked up. So I took the spark plugs out a little bit, fouled, cleaned them up, and just put a bit of Lucas upper cylinder lubricant in the 2-stroke fuel, and just kept running it, and yeah, it's just sweetening out idles. Everything's great. So this is a 135 horsepower 2 litre 2-stroke. So I previously had what they call a tower of power, so inline 6 Mercury. It was a 150. It had been reconditioned by a retired engineer. I had that for a while. That was awesome. So they're like a 1.7 litre, where this one's a 2 litre. And the previous boat I had for this had the Mercury V6 2.5 litre. So it was 175 horsepower, and it had so much power. It was unreal, so much torque. But this one's slightly smaller, but I think it's it appears to be really good. So the dude, before he didn't progress any further with this boat, he had a fully serviced water test, and yeah, it was So what I'll do, I'll just give it a quick kick on the gas to show you. I actually dropped the leg on it. I thought I broke the impeller, but the P hole down here, it blocked up. I was thinking I ruined the impeller because I forgot to turn the tap on after night shift when I first got it. It started it, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with the impeller. It's mint. So put on fast idle. It's a bit cranky. I think turn off a little bit. Yeah, you really need to run them fast idle for a bit, keep running. Pump the bulb. Bulb's not hard, will not go at all. One thing that I watch out with these old motors, being carburetors, they're a little bit basic, but you have to pay attention to the engine temperature. So these old Mercs, they got thermostats under here. They govern the temperature of the motor. So when they're stuck closed, obviously they overheat, you get alarm, and then when they stay open, that you don't get temperature and you have problems keeping them running. So yeah, check thermostats, check the fuel lines. A lot of wiring, but it's freaking basic compared to a fuel injected car. But I'm just making sure the thing runs. I'll dump the oil out of the leg, put fresh oil in it. It's probably already being serviced. I'll do it regularly. Then yeah, it's probably just buy another trailer for it, and yeah, enjoy it. But there's been stuff going on in my personal life. I can't say it's got to do with my son. It's custody stuff, and yeah, it's getting toxic. We're trying to work through it, but yeah, it's been taking up a lot of my time and a bit of uncertainty with how things are going to go, but it'll pan out. Things are going to slow down a bit, but yeah, I more or less got this boat because I love boats, but yeah, I want to get out of water again with my son because he's obviously not going to be 14 forever. So yeah, the coupe, I'm going to take out a small loan. I'm going to get pretty much 80% of the stuff I need for that car. That way I can, once this car's painted, I can just slap a coat of paint on it and yeah, get it painted and start putting it back together. That's the idea of it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have updates up on this boat and the coupe, but the coupe's going to be priority as usual. But I'll try to have the updates at the same time rather than just smashing with all these irrelevant stuff that you're not interested in, because I know 3/4 of people on the channel aren't going to rat's ass about this boat. That's it. That's just the way it is. So you can't please everyone. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll chat to you later. Started pulling this engine off. I made a jig. You can buy a proper Mercury jig, but I just made this one. Does the job. Done this before. Previous engines I've had. So, but I lost the jig. So I had to make a new one. I've made this contraption on the engine stand. So yeah, put the engine on that. And yeah, got the old engine crane, but it's a bit harder than normal because it's not on flat 100% flat ground. So yeah, you got to sort of work with it. But yeah, I'm at the point now I'm going to pull this engine off and put it on the crane stand. I might be able to cut along here and then cross the bottom and cut this whole outer shell off, and I might be able to use it again, but obviously where the joins are I'll have to take it right back and put the sheets of glass on it. Looking into my options. It's when you look on the bottom, it's got like the outer gel coat, then you got the ply that went inside that slot, and then it goes along here. But this bottom section here is rock solid hard. It's like solid fiberglass. You can see where the ply's been sticking against it. But yeah, I hit that with a hammer, man. It is rock solid hard. It's like, yep. But here, just see it's under here. It's just fiberglass behind that. So you got the thick layer here. I can't understand where it gets strength from. I suppose it's only rated for 115 horsepower, but I reckon if I join the top up here, make it really strong, so join these two together, put a thick light, obviously just have the Thermalite across here, and then it should be heaps stronger, I reckon. Yeah, I think what's happened, it's just got rotted across here. They've actually cut a slot into it and poured bloody epoxy in it to try to get it hard to get strength back. Absolute shit job getting that out. But yeah, I think it just yeah, water's got in and just rotted this out. Then it's still got a bit of flex going on, but I don't reckon it would have. I reckon I could have got out in the water and had a bit of fun. It wouldn't have actually sunk the boat, but yeah, it's just long-term wise is not safe. So yeah, it should be all good. I'll sort this out. A little bit of work, but there's nowhere near as much work as I thought it'd be. But I'll just leave this. I'll leave this here. I'll just clean it right up, get it right back to fiberglass, and just yeah, add the new material to it. It should be sweet. Saturday morning. I love to work an XB coupe, but it's not going to happen. It's on and off raining. It's just absolute pathetic weather for doing body work. So I'm waiting on I've got to buy new skins for the doors anyway, so they're $1,000 each. I'm going to have to save money for that. But what I'm going to do in the meantime is keep working on this boat. Found this seller on eBay who's got the front cover for this outboard motor. But I sent him a message last week, and yeah, he must be reading his messages because he hasn't got back to me. So I'll send him 5 messages straight up, so he can't miss it this time. So I just need a cover for that. The motor's sweet. And I've just, my last day off, I went to this place in Newcastle and bought 20 litres of this fiberglass resin, vinyl ester resin. So it's, you buy it in small amounts cheap, but you're better off just buying it in bulk. It works out so much cheaper. Then I've got this talc, like powder stuff. You use it to you mix the resin with that, and you can make like a filler. It's got that. Got heaps of mixing goodies. Got the hardener for it. Special rollers, rolling in fiberglass mat stuff here. So I've got that stuff ready to go. Heaps of that. Really got too much product, but better off having too much and not enough. So what I'll do today, I'll just went to Bunnings, import 2 sheets of this marine ply. It's 18mm thick, so I've got 2 of them together, which makes 36. So yeah, the hull's actually, it's going to be 1.6, well, 16mm fatter, wider, the transom, so it's giving me that little bit thicker and stronger, so that way I can handle that motor better. But yeah, I've been at work and my son's giving me his bloody head cold, so I'm just going to keep working through it and suffering. I've got to clean the rest of this crap off. This is a mess. All the pieces. So yeah, no good. Clean this up. But yeah, I can't really do what I'll focus on doing today. I'll get a template. I'll make a template to know exactly how the trans, like how big it's got to be in that. And that way I can mark it out. Then I'll have to cut one sheet out, make sure I'm happy with it, and that way I can then I can use fiberglass sheet and sandwich it together, screw it together. I can let it set overnight. I think tomorrow's supposed to be a shit house day, on and off raining worse than today. So I'll just have to do what I can. It's just frustrating. It'll be frustrating for everyone, on and off raining. So yeah, get into it. Not bloody easy, time consuming, but I'm getting heaps done. So I've taken the slip here off. I figured if I got rid of that, I can put a layer. So I got two, like 18mm thickness in plywood sheets. So I put one layer behind that. I can't fit both of them down there, it's too thick, but I put one of them behind it and another one sort of in front of it, because this area is going to come out a bit, fair bit. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fair bit stronger than what it was. Yeah, it's going to come right out on this bottom lip. It's going to come right out. It's almost flush with that. So I figured, yeah, make it easier for me when I have to rebuild this whole back again. But yeah, I'll have to take, mate, I've got a hole there, it got pretty thin. I'll have to take this right back. Take this right back here, so then I can put heaps of layers and build it up again. Yeah, I'm on the home run now. I'll have to fiberglass those sheets together shortly. I'll leave it overnight and probably tomorrow, but then it'll be raining. I might be able to back the boat into one of these garages here and start hooking into the back of it. I know this this fiberglass, it's been probably 20 years since I've done much fiberglass work, but it goes off fairly quickly. So yeah, that'd be good. Get it over and done with, move on to the next project. It's probably going to be trailer. I'm going to undecided whether to buy a trailer or just make one. Yeah, I just don't know yet. I prefer to get back to work on the coop, but I'll be waiting on those door skins anyway. Cleaned up the transom, so it's and my phone's playing up. That's better. Yeah, I've cleaned it up, get the edges right. So all I have to do now, I've just got some MDF from Bunnings. I'll try to find that stuff they use for signage. But yeah, I couldn't find it, so I just got this shitty MDF. It's like $11 a sheet. So I've marked the bottom out. I'm just marking out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add about 15mm, raise the transom up a little bit where the motor bolts on. I noticed when the motor was on there was a bit of a gap there, so could easily go a bit higher. Helps too when there's when you're going flat out and you back off and you come to stop and you get wash, catches up to you and goes over the transom, so this should help a little bit. So I've got this cheapy Roby jigsaw. So I cut this middle section out and I'll fit it back up on the transom and then see how it looks, and then I'll probably cut the tops out then and do the sides. And then once I'm completely happy with this template, I'll mark out on the marine ply. Now comes the time I'm going to start cutting. It's probably going to take me a while. It's a pretty big item. It's a damn shame I couldn't do it on one sheet, but it's just not big enough to do two, so yeah, too bad. Just done a dummy fit. So it's 2 layers of 18mm. So yeah, it's pretty thick. It's about 16mm bigger. Once you close this up a bit, oh, it's a bit hard, but yeah, it leaves it. There's probably about a 8mm overhang. That part of it, but yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a shitload stronger. Pretty keen. So tomorrow's job will be sandwiching them together with the fiberglass stuff I've got. So I've got the vinyl ester resin, and I've got the sheeting, heaps of the sheeting stuff up here. Put that in between it. Got the special rolls and stuff. So yeah, all good. So the vinyl ester's gone off. This was in the container. Yeah, so about 45 minutes it went off. It's been probably an hour and a half now. Rock solid hard. And if it doesn't have that tacky finish like I was reading on the internet, it doesn't matter. You can simply sear off sand to the surface there. So you simply just go over it. I've got plenty of sanding sponges and stuff. So yeah, so I'll see. I'll probably shatter when I drop it. No, it's like rock solid hard. So yeah, so what I'll do now, progress with sticking these two plywood transom sections together. So I'll make a start on now. I'll just have to get this matte stuff out and start cutting it the shape. Just laying it out. It's going to be easy. Once I cut this stuff to shape, I can just roll this side over onto that. I'm going to have to really be prepared for this, because once I coat it all, I'm going to quickly screw it together, get it to sit tight, then I'll leave for a couple of days and there it should be sweet. Got the resin ready. The scale's maxed out at 300 grams, so I've had to go by just measure the mil. So I've got 1 litre, so if it's 2% that'll be 20 mil, but the guy who sold me this resin, he said it's 1%, so I think I'll go with that, because I've got a litre here. If that's not enough, that'll buy me some time. I'll probably have a window of about half an hour to get this done, so I think that's plenty of time. But yeah, if I need to, I'll just get some more out of the tin and yeah, make some more. But I'll have to put gloves on. It's getting safety first. Big warnings on this, so it must be pretty potent. Got the mask on. That's an issue. Yep, thrown out the whole lot. Future reference, put plastic down. Because once you sandwich it together, it oozes out everywhere. At least I know it's on there good. See, leave it out now. I've got heaps of screws in it. Sandwich it really well. Should go off pretty soon. So I'll just use the Bunnings. Went to Bunnings and bought paintbrushes, went to a pet shop, bought syringes so I can less waste when I'm mixing it up. And yeah, heaps of this stuff left. I've actually got too much, but I intend putting a lot of sheeting on there to get it really strong. Took this windscreen off the boat. It's got a quick release connection on it, so you can just basically pull it off. But it looks like somebody's cleaned it with sandpaper or something. It's scratched the hell out of it. Horrible mess. That's what I've done. I got hit it with 600 grit, 2000 grit, which usually go stages in between it. Then I'll just hit the high definition pad with cutting compound, swirl remover, and yeah, it's come up mint, absolutely beautiful. So I've had to replace windows before, boats. It sucks, big job, especially when you try and undo all the screws and it just snaps off. So all I have to do is buff this up and it's sweet, don't have to worry about this. Be done. And yeah, because if I was to replace this again, I'd probably go polycarbonate, wouldn't go Perspex. Polycarbonate's a little bit more durable, flexes better, but it's a bit dearer. But yeah, hopefully yeah, that's it. I have to replace the windows on the boat butt itself. They're shit. Yeah, so this part of the window doesn't look too bad, but over here, the sun beating on it, yeah, it's all crazed and crow feet all through it. So yeah, no good. But I don't particularly care about this point in time. I'm just killing time because I haven't got the parts I need for the coupe, so that's stopped. Back on the tools. I've been really sick. I had like a viral infection where, yeah, my ears are blocked, throat really sore, just crap. It's not COVID, I don't know what it was, but yeah, bedridden for pretty much stayed in the house, didn't do anything for like 4 days. It's, yeah, pretty crook. So I'm back on the tools now. My son's at school. Just looking over this transom and seeing how it is and that. And so I've had screws in it. I've taken them out. I'm going to make like a talc paste or resin to fill them in. Gonna be sanded back, and just what I'm doing now, I'm just trimming back the edges. And they're pretty nasty. It's like touching the fins of a fish. They're really sharp and stiff, easily piece your skin. So I'm taking them off. Trim this back, get it all clean. Now I've got to use the sander and get the edges, give it a good coat of resin, seal it up, stop it, water being able to penetrate it easily. So do that. I went to Bunnings and I bought more stuff. So I already had these special rollers for rolling in the fiberglass. So I've got them, and I've got these special texture things like you use, putting like the Raptor underbody sealant on, rollers, bucket. So what I'll do, I'll mix up like a talc paste. It's like a bog. So I mix that up, talc or resin, and then that'll be one bucket. I mix that up, won't add the hardener, and then on the other bucket I'll mix up some some resin. So what I'll do first, I'll get a layer of fiberglass. Or first off, I'll wet this with use a roller and put resin on. Then I'll put the fiberglass sheeting on, and then I'll wrap the sheeting so it goes around the side. So I've got to dress this back so that ties all this together so it's nice and strong. And I'll use 2% hardener, where last time I used 1%, and it takes probably 2.5-3 hours for it to go off. So if I add 2%, it should go off in about half an hour, 40 minutes. So I'll have to be completely organised, be all set up. So put that on, then I'll go off, and then I'll get a scuff up. And then I'll start making the bog, the talc paste, and then I'll apply that, and then I'll be able to fit up this transom. So what I've got these adhesive spread I use for tiling and stuff. So that way you can put it on, and when I press the transom on, it'll literally it'll work out really good. So got that measuring cup and stuff. So all good. The weather's a bit, how you going? Sort of on and off spinning rain, but yeah, it isn't meant to be much rain today. About to mix up some bog. So I've got this mixer from Bunnings. Yeah, nice, consistent colour. Probably not the quickest way of mixing it, but it does the job. So I've got that. So I've got just an old coffee jar. So I'm going to mix up 200 mil. So by 2%, that'll be, what's that, buddy? 4 mil. Yeah, so I have to mix up. Mix up the hardener, and then got the talc ready. So I mix up. This is really a bit of a trial run, so I can fill up all these holes and just see how long it takes for it to go off. Just mixed up the talc and resin. It's just like the fiberglass filler. In fact, this is a bit older stuff, but yeah, this is an actual fiberglass filler. So yeah, it's obviously it's more like a bog. It hasn't got the fiberglass matting stuff in it. So yeah, it's no fibers, just powder. So that's gonna be great for filling these holes in. So I'll mix, I'll put 20 mil in there. That should go off pretty quick. Then I can move on to the transom, doing the back of the boat. Got that part sorted. All the holes are filled in. What I've been doing now, I've got the angle grinder, the flapper disc. Got that 40 grit, and I took heaps of meat off here. But then I thought, hang on, I got some pretty good tools. So I've got this another super cheap auto item. This is another one of those random buys where you go into super cheap auto and you're like, yes, I'll take that home with me. So yeah, brushless motor, nice good sander pad on it, and that takes the meat off really quick. It's only got 120 grit on it, but that's good, still takes it off. So what I've been doing, I'll go the upside's a bit easier, nothing in the road. So the beauty of that big sanding disc is that you get a nice flat surface, and I'm able to feather the edges so they're all flush. So that way I can put like a fiberglass sheet over it, and this will tie this all together. See, if I had a lip in that, you'd have like air under it. That's dog shit. So yeah, this side's actually a lot thicker than the other side, which is weird. Oh, that's 70s boats for you, or 80s, whenever this was made. So yeah, I'll give this a coat of epoxy now, and resin, I should say, and yeah, put a sheet on, and then I'll get it closer to being ready to put the the transom on. So I'm going to mix up 1300 mils. Got the tray ready, got the special roller, Bunnings special, and yeah, just got a paintbrush, got this cut out ready, fiberglass sheet. Yeah, so it's a matter of just putting some fiberglass resin on the transom, putting on, put heaps on, and now put the matting on there. I can roll it around the sides as well. I'll have to get the other sheets for that. I deliberately didn't cut it big enough for that reason, because in case it doesn't come out right. Story of my life, running out of time, trying to get shit done. So I got stuck into this afternoon. Yeah, and yeah, I put a sheet of fiberglass on the back like I was telling you before. Put fiberglass around the sides to tie the corners in. And it was about 1:20, 1:30 in the afternoon. I had to pick up my son at 3 o'clock from school. I'm like, stuff it. So I got hooked into it. I put a layer of fiberglass resin on the opposite side, and then I made up like the talc, like I was telling you, and I put it on the boat itself, on the transom, and then I put it on the replacement transom as well. Then I sandwiched it together. I've taken them down now, but I had tie downs wrapped around it and I should have taken a photo or something, but yeah. And then I had to go out and pick my son up. I come home and I've just taken the tie downs off, and yeah, it's strong as hell. Yeah, really strong. So it's all in there now. That's what I'll do next. It actually came out pretty good. It's almost flush with this, so yeah, I can make that all sort of blend in. So what I'll do, I'll be rounding these corners off heaps, and then I'll be putting filler in here just to give it like a nice surface, so I can wrap layers and layers of fiberglass around. They're all tied in really good. Same here. Yeah, tie it all in here, across there. I'm going to have to put filler in here because there's a bit of a step. I put a bit of filler in there to bring it up, and I'll put sheets over here and really build it up to make it really strong on the bottom. I'll have to, it's got a bit of a gap there. I'll load that up with fiberglass filler. I'm going to have to drop the front of this boat. It's sitting too high. I'm starting to lose my voice again. Bloody bug, still getting over it. Yeah, so make a fresh start in the morning. I'll drop my son off at school, go to Bunnings, get some more sandpaper stuff so I can hook into those corners. But yeah, I should have this transom done in the next couple of weeks. Easy, I reckon. I've just made up a heap of fiberglass filler using the talc and fiberglass resin. And yeah, it's bloody really good. This gives me a good foundation to put fiberglass sheeting around. Give it a nice, good, smooth bonding surface. So obviously it needs to be sanded, but yeah, I've done all up around here. I've got tape. I use that to try and encourage it to sit in areas where I want to go. And you take the tape off just before it starts to go off. That way, yeah, it doesn't stick to it badly. So yeah, it's come out really good. So much quicker to work on this sort of thing than bloody work on that coupe. The Falcon hardtop, I mean. So yeah, I'll probably start doing that here now while this completely goes off. I just made this section that goes underneath. Bit of work involved getting that the right shape, and we used more of the bog around it. So I'm at the point now where I can start dressing these sides back and start putting fiberglass sheets around, start tying in the rest of the boat. Yeah, looking good. I've glassed the sides around here. Very, very messy work, but it's happening very quickly. So I've got this section down here. I'm using the trusty, super cheap sander with 80 grit paper on it. So yeah, I'm just making sure got the automotive spline, using this to go over it, make sure she's flat. Not as critical as doing a car, but I'll get reasonably close, you know. So yeah, so I'll get this whole transom dress up, get rid of all these runs and shit on it. Then I'll start putting sheets of glass on it.
Back's all glassed in now. Put one sheet across the back. So the whole lot's tied together now. I've just got to do next. I've just, run out of time as usual. So I'm going to, when it's all dry, I'm going to give it another scuff over and put another layer of glass on it. But I'll have to do up in these areas here first. Tidy that up and tie this in properly. And then on the bottom, I'll trim that fiberglass excessive layer back. And then I'll fill it up with fiberglass bog. So yeah, getting there now. I'm just fixing these big old transom pieces in. It's all tied up underneath now. All the transom's glassed in from the outside. Pretty damn strong, I reckon. Heaps thicker. I could have filmed a lot more of it, but yeah, you'll have to get on YouTube and look at it, and it's heaps people doing the same thing. So I put this fiberglass bog, resin bog underneath. Put them in nice, put them on nice and tight, make sure they're flat. And then I'm thinking about using the middle section again, but it's gonna have to clean up a lot. Get rid of all existing wood off it, farrow the edges up, and then I might be able to use that. Either that, or I could just put layers of fiberglass on it and build it up. I don't know. Just looking at the quickest, the most effective way of doing it, because it's got its strength back now. It's just a matter of sealing it up good and make sure it's nice and tight. But I just got the Ford Escort I've got back from the tuners. Everything's gone really well. The car runs so much better. It's unbelievable. It's like driving a new school 4-cylinder but with turbo on it. And it's so fast. He mucked around the cam timing, and it's now got 635 newton meters of torque, and it's got a really wide curve band, torque band, and it's getting 493 horsepower. The hub, so yeah, she's absolute weapon. It's so quick. Pretty much it'll blow the tires off. It's got Yokohama semi-slicks, will blow the tires off any gear, any speed. It's pretty good. So I'm just happy to have it back now. Just took it out for a run, went for a run to get takeaway in KFC, and yeah, the car's great. I can just park it up now and leave it, and I might go for a cruise in Newcastle tomorrow, and they've got a car meet there in town, so yeah, wouldn't mind going for a run. It's a good day for it. So yeah, I'll keep going with this transom now, and I'll see how I go. Just waiting for the bog to go off. Very messy. Got the spline here. A bit hard to do it now, I've got the bog in the road, but I've been using this on the edges to make sure they're square. Yeah, so far so good. I was going to put the middle section back in, but it's just too rough. Might as well just I'll get the old section I cut out of here, use that as a template, and then I'll cut a heap of fiberglass sheeting stuff here. Get a heap of that and just build up layers, and I'll use a spline to go over it and make sure it's built up enough. Then I'll use fiberglass bog, resin bog, and load it up. Then on the bottom I'll get some builder's tape or fixed strong stuff, and I'll put that around the bottom perimeter of the boat, and then I'll put fiberglass filler injected in there. That way I can get a nice strong thick edge, because as you know, boating, some might know when you're boating, you hit stuff and it chips, and if it's not thick enough and strong enough, it could easily puncture the hull and get water inside, so I don't want that to happen. Buy some Perspex, make new windows, and then I bought some window tint off eBay. Tint the windows, put the windows back together on new screws and stuff, and start putting the thing back together. A bow rail. I'm going to buy new. Got this stuff here. Gun wall, they call it. Goes on there, but this is brittle and old. Plus, I cut it too short in the back. Stupid, but get new stuff. Put that on. That'll help top it off, make it look that little bit better. Then I've got to paint the outboard motor. It's I got the decals for it. That's no problem. So I'm going to paint this like a metallic, a B&W black metallic. So it should look nice. I'm just waiting on this cover. Very difficult to find these covers apparently, because they fall off. So there was one in Sydney, but the bloke was stuffing me around. So I ended up buying one from America. Cost me a good coin too.
But yeah, once I got this covered, I can give this outboard a good go over. Should look absolutely mint when it's finished. Then I put it back on, and I'm thinking about buying hydraulic steering system for this boat. I reckon once you get over 115 horse, you start like steering gets a bit heavy. Torque steer they call it. So yeah, so I'm waiting on these. I've got these big carabine decals to go around here. Massive. They look pretty cool. Put them on. Yeah, she's coming along now. This mica pearl, absolutely beautiful in the sun. It just sparkles. It's great. Really stoked with it. So yeah, buddy. Yep, made good progress today. I'll have to pull up. It's got doctor's appointments to go to. Another day in the tools. I went to Newcastle and I bought some, they call it acrylic, or it's Perspex, what I always known it as. So I got a big sheet of it. I think it's made in Vietnam, but this is 4.5 mil thick. Yeah, 133 bucks. That's pretty damn cheap. 24 by is 1240 or something. So it's a pretty big sheet, but I got to cut down to fit it in the wagon. So I've got all the windows here. So what I'm going to do, I've just got it offcut. So I'll make just the one window to start with, and then I've got some window tint. So these are the side windows. So make 2 of these, and then I'll make I'll probably make this now, and then I'll start making the windows at the front. Then I'll make the top window, but I don't have to worry about doing the top sides. My last day off, I were in pretty good nick as they were, so the spiders made nests on it. But yeah, gave it a tint, just 15%, not too dark. But I probably won't end up doing the top windscreen. I want a good vision because it's an overcast sort of day. I want to be able to see, yeah, where I'm going. So yeah, I've stuck these decals on there. Yeah, so I'll make a start on this now. Just mark it out with a pen. It's easy to mark out. Then I'll use a ultra thin cutting disc on angle grinder, cut it out. And then I'll dress the sides up with angle grinder with a flapper disc. Then I'll tint it. Just cut it out. Just testing the frame, make sure I can get it on, because if it's slightly too big, it's really difficult to get around that point. So I'll just use flapper disc to dress the sides up, and I'll just use an ordinary cutting disc. And yeah, done the trick. So what I'll do now, I'll pull this window back out. I'll strip the inside of it, give it a tint, and then I'll install it. But I couldn't get new rubbers, unfortunately, so I'll have to use the old ones. I'll just put a bit of Sikaflex over it and make it look new again. For anyone who hasn't done window tinting before, what I do, get detergent, water and a bottle. For this, I just use the back of this car because it's closest to where I'm working. So I'll wet that down with detergent water, separate the films, saturate the window, and while you're stripping this inner layer with actual tint, you spray up detergent. You keep it wet. Keep it wet right up until the point where you don't want to you want to stick. So what I'm doing now is just carefully using this squeegee, just working all the air out. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a whole lot harder to do it when it's on the car. So yeah, I'll keep going with this, and then I'll get a ruler and I'll just carefully trim the sides off, and yeah, it should be ready to install. Finished product. Look at the sun. Looks pretty damn good. It's got like dots all through it. I think it's just the I don't know if it's cheap tint or it's contaminated. I don't know, but it's alright. It's only a boat windscreen. I don't care. If it was a car, it'd be a little bit different. Probably if I was to tint the window on this Falcon hardtop, I reckon I'd probably pay someone. I reckon just pay someone who does it for a living, who's really good at it. I'm sort of alright at doing a lot of different things, but I'm not really a specialist at one particular thing.
except for Ford Escorts. But yeah, so yeah, that's that window done. I'll just leave it out in the sun and just let it sit, dry out properly. And so I think they start off being a little bit cloudy, and then once after about, I reckon 3 weeks, they clear up a bit. Either way, looks good to me. Thought I better start filming, so I've given the motor a fresh coat of black paint. We'll clear over top of it. Now I'm going through the process of putting decals on, so this is the part of it where you got to be really careful. You can really stuff it up. So I'll just keep progressing with it, but I'm still waiting on this bloody front cover. It's sitting at customs in Sydney. It's been there for getting close to 2 weeks now. In fact, actually it is 2 weeks now. 2 weeks today. So yeah, that sucks. So can't do much about that, but at least I'll be able to put the motor back on. Put it back on the boat. Make some room so I can get back to work on this old girl. Righto, time to do the whole shot test. I'll turn it around. There's a bit of crap in the water, but and there's people fishing, there's people in kayaks and stuff, so I've got about 300 metres of water I can really open her up, so see how she goes. Hydraulic steering is freaking unreal. Damn shame, it hasn't got the torque like the last Black Max I had. It's still a rocker. Righto, here goes. Whole shot test. Yeah, so she appears to be going good. To make sure there's no one coming. The pee hole, heaps of water coming out. I set up this aftermarket temperature gauge, and yeah, it's running around 70, 65, 70, so I think that's pretty good. This new fish finder, something going on there. Look into it, but yeah, she's a goer. Yeah, very happy. Now I can get back to working on my coop, but now there's a boat coming, so I have to get moving.